got the V shapes in there. We've got all different kinds of shapes on that one. And that one is even bigger than this one I'm working on. Okay, so to get my pattern on here, what I do firsthand, and I eyeball it all, so you can't, because every one of these is different size, and every one is going to be decorated different. So there's no way that you can have your things exact. You know, if you're making stripes, you got to kind of eyeball them to get them on there. And the same way with checks. When I made these black and white checks on here, I'll show you how to do that, okay? So what I did first, I went to one of these big ribs, like this one right here, and I made me a little dot. Right, this is the peak of the rib. See how it's done around in a star-like shape? I went around that. Hi, Karen, how are you? I went around and I put me a little dot right here at the bottom where I want that point to be. Then I kind of traveled around and I carried over, just eyeballing it, and I put me a little dot on each of the ribs. I tried to make it as exact as I could. This thing is so many different sizes that if you don't get it exact, it's not something that you have to have an exact match or exact pattern to. And I've lost it down here on my iPad, so I can't see it anymore. Okay, so I made a mark on there, each spot that I, to kind of make a V shape. I want to make a V shape there. Then I come in with my pencil, and I go from that first mark, and I went up in a V shape. This side and this side. I took it right up to here, and I traveled all the way around. Now when I make my marks on there, I don't try to go from this spot to this spot in one stroke, because that's so easy for you to get your pattern off. But if you do little hatch marks, if you just go down your piece like this with little hatch marks, you'll get them on a whole lot more even, and it'll be a whole lot easier for you than trying to make one mark to make it like trying to make this mark on here. This rib is done in stripes, and if I try to take that stripe from here to the bottom with one draw mark, it's going to be crooked as a dog's leg. But if you take it in hatch marks, little hatch marks, and follow them down, you can get it down there and get it pretty straight. Hi Peggy, how are you? So I did that with each one till I went around and I made that V shape in each one of these ribs here. And as you can see, some of the ribs, this one's real big, this one's big, and then they change. All of them's different sizes. So you don't have to be, and you can see from looking, just eyeballing this, that looks as even as you're going to possibly get it. Otherwise, you'd have to measure it off with a tape measure and measure it off, which is too much aggravation to do that. Okay, so that's what I'm going to paint that orange. And that being orange is, the orange I use is Deco Arts Bright Orange is what I use usually to make that with. And that'll take about 3 coats of that orange, because it's really, it's not a good coverage paint. So it'll take about 3 coats. I've started to put the first one on there. Then I decide where I'm going to go from there, which ribs I'm going to do what on. Now this one, I'm going to put V shapes on this one, like, okay, this over here. See if I've got any V's. No, I don't have any V's on that one, but I've got stripes going. See, I've got stripes going down this way. I've got checks and stripes on this one, polka dots. So this one I made into V shapes, okay, on this paper here. See how I've got those V's down through there? It's just like the same thing I did up with orange, but I'm going to go down the rib and put that in. That pumpkin I sold a long time ago, so I didn't have it to show you. So what I done, I went down here and I guessed at it, and I made me another mark about this, what I eyeball to be the same distance all the way down through here. So I made 1 mark, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way to the bottom, and I tried to space them the correct amount from eyeballing them out there. Then I start with the 1 dot that I have here, and I went from there up to this corner, same way that I did this orange piece up here. I went from here and I put little hatch marks up to that, and the same thing on the other side, down to the next one, and I went up until I've got a V shape. I've got V shapes all the way down through there. and every other one of them I'm going to paint. So then you decide, you get your pattern on there, and then you can decide your colors, what colors you're going to paint on it. So I've got one with a V shape on it. I've got, I'm going to use the liquid gold on this one. So I chose 3 little ones, this one, and this one over here, to leave them gold. So I just put me a G on those 3 that I'm going to leave gold. Okay, this one right here, I'm going to do black and white checks, this big one. So I started in the very middle, the point of that orange. I hope you can understand this, girls, because this is not easy when I can't show you what the marks, you see the marks looks like. But I started right here at the point where this orange point is, the dot, and I edged me a mark all the way down that center. Now, you know, if you're making stripes or checks, you got to have an even number. So I just carried it over a little bit and went down with another line. Now, as you come around down here, these blocks are not going to be the same size because your rib is going in. So they're going to get smaller as they get over here to the side. As I paint it, you'll see what I've got in there as I paint it. I went down another mark, another one, and another one. So I've got, and I did that on both sides. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 stripes on that. On that one rib, I've got 8 stripes. And I'm going to come across ways now. I'm going to make this one into checks. So I'm going to come across, and I'm going to start in the middle, work my way down, and then work my way back up. So I'm going to start right here in the middle, make me a mark, and I'm going to carry it over to this side, little hatch marks coming over to this side. Okay? Then I'm going to go back the other way. So I went around that one time. Now I'm going to go down, guess at it, go down, and make another row right across the next section. I'm making squares now. It's easier to do it toward you, so most of the time I do this side, get this side in. And I'm trying to just guessing at them, because like I said, they do not have to be exact. So I've got all this. I'm going to go up here now and go to the top. And I have to come around a little bit because that's coming around. You'll see it as you're doing it. You'll be able to see that that has to come like in a half circle from the top, going up to the top up there, because that gets smaller as it gets to the top. So I've got them all the way on that side. Then I'm going to reverse it, and I'm going to carry my lines right back over to the other side. We'll try to get some of each of the ribs painted so you'll be able to see what the marks is that I put in there and how that works for you. Okay, now I'm going down here to the bottom. Now the checks, like I said, they're not going to be the same size, so that's not something you have to worry about. As long as their eyeball look the same size, you know, as long as you look at them like this real quickly and they look to you to be the same size, you're all right. As long as you don't have one this big and one great big, you know, as long as you get them close as you can, you're all right with them. Okay, so I did that one. I've got checks on this one. I've got, I made the same pattern over here, made the same across this, but I'm going to do this one in stripes. So when I use my paintbrush, I will just follow this line straight down and put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stripes across there. I'll do 5 stripes on that one. Okay, then I've got a gold, I've got 3 gold ones here, and then I'll just decide as the other ones as I go the other way. Okay, I need to put one in okay, let's do that one's checks. Let's jump over here and do this one. Okay, this one I'm going to do this slanted design. See how I've got this purple on an angle there? I'm going to do that. So what I've done is I just take my pencil and I edge that down and I make those marks and I slant them. As I go down, I'm slanting those marks straight down. Okay, so you can see that as you go around. Sometimes you'll make just one rib solid. So I'm going to, let's see, this is the one. I'm going to start right here to stop at the top. And I'm going to make me a little line that kind of slants. I'm coming down not straight around. I'm making it go down a little bit to make a row And I'm going to do that all the way down, making them all about the same, just eyeballing them, trying to get them all about the same distance apart. And then I'll paint every other one of those with a color and leave the other ones white. Now see that when I come down that one, I had to go all the way down here to the bottom. So they're going to get longer as you come down, because that's a little short rib at the top. And then as it comes down, you've got to go longer. As you follow that around, you will see that. Your eyeballs will tell you this is where it has to go if you're following those little marks. See? Now I've got them all in, and I'll have to paint them in before you can really see what I've got. But I'm going to put an X in every other one, because that's the ones I'm going to put paint on. And the others I'll leave white. Okay? Now, I'm going to come in here. See, I've painted the checks. You can see where I've painted the checks on this one. I put the checks on that one. And this one's got a stripe on it. So now I'm going to switch over to this one, and I'm going to show you how that looks after I put the stripe on there. And I've just chose some colors over here, and I think I'll make this one blue. And if you're using the metallics, I did this one in the teal metallic, and I put a coat of regular teal on there first. Then I went back with my teal metallic and put this one on over top of it, okay? Okay, girls, if I'm missing your questions, I'll go back when I'm done and read all that you've wrote and see if I can answer your questions for you as we go, okay? So now I'm going to come in here and I'm going to paint. I've got this one done just like I showed you that stripe there. And let's see, I think I'll do this one in, see what I got over here. Okay, let's make us a green one here. Now, if I'm using the paints and I don't have the same color to mix with it, then I'm going to take a little bit of the first coat and I'm going to put a touch of black. This is only if you're using metallics. If you're using regular paints, you don't have to do this. But I'm using metallics on this one, so I'm going to put just a little bit of black in my green metallic and use that for my first coat, so it's not as see-through, so it's more solid when I put it on there. And then when the second coat goes on, it'll be the regular green. Now I'm going to take my brush and every other one of these here, I'm going to come down and paint these right across. And I'm going in a curve. I have to paint it one direction, then I have to turn it and paint it the other direction. Now, see how that curved as it went down that? It's curved on the side of that ball. It's curved on there. Okay? Now when I get the next one on, you'll be able to see the curves as we go down. This one curls around the rib. Okay? Really would probably be better if the camera was behind me for you to see. I'll try to do a small one and see if I can put it over here, you know, to where I can set the camera over me and not have to, you don't need to see me anyway. So we can do it that way. But see how I'm going down that? See, I'm going right down that page now, sliding it around there. Work my way right on down on this one. Having a pattern, there's no rhyme or reason as to any way you paint them. You can paint them any color you want. You can use any design on here that you want. You can make them stripes. You can make them polka dots. You can make them solid color. You can go any way you want with them. It's just when you decide what you want to do, it's just like painting with a color book. You just put it in there. Then you can go back and add your things into them to making them dimensional and stuff by putting polka dots in them or curlicues or, you know, using some pearl, some liquid pearl or something just to decorate them with. put some beads. I think I'll put some beads down the ribs of this one. And I will use that bling and put a row of bling down between each rib. Sometimes I paint that gold in there. You see, now I've got that green all the way down through there. See how that goes around? And that's the same thing that I done over here on this one. I might as well, now let's go back over here while that one's drying. And I'll go ahead and finish the orange going around this one, so you can see where the orange is going. So each one of these little things in these ribs are just like a V, coming down there like a V. And this orange is real opaque, it's real, real transparent, so you're going to have to put probably 3 coats of orange in there to get it. And I don't want to put another color under it because I want to keep that a bright orange. Okay. I love the shade of that pumpkin. The shape, I like the ones with the odd shape too. That's the ones that are the prettiest ones. I've got water on my brush. I love the shapes. I like that one that lays on its side. They're more expensive, but if you're doing them for yourself, that ain't no big deal if you're making yourself some of them. But if you're selling them, those smaller ones, and you can find pumpkins at Dollar Tree and everywhere. You can find little ones to practice on. Okay. Okay, now you'll see that star in there. I went all the way around with that star. I'll paint the stem gold. When it's all done, I'll use the liquid gold on that stem. Okay, now let's jump over here where I've got the checks, and I'll paint the checks in, some of the checks in for you. Okay, this one I'm going to go down to a smaller brush because my checks are smaller. And I always go in and mark them with a pencil so I don't fool around and mess them up, getting them in the wrong place. So. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Just put your little X in every one that you're going to paint black. If you don't do that, a lot of times you'll goof up and put the black in the wrong spot, and then you've got a problem, because trying to get that black back off of there is hard to do. Okay. Now I'm going to go down to a smaller brush and use my black, and I'm going to just start filling these little checks in. We'll do some of these so you can see what it looks like. I'm just using the flat of my brush, and I'm going to turn this pumpkin however it's comfortable for me, the easiest way to get them checks in there. The edge of your brush, the edge of a good brush, will make you a good straight line there. Okay. I'm sorry I can't keep up with your comments, girls. I can't hardly do that and paint. I miss you what you're putting in there. Like I said, that's what I got Wanda and Peggy for. They'll chat with you. Those girls have been with me. I've got a bunch in here that's been with me almost since I started. And they stay with me in my private group. As most of you know right now, my life is in turmoil at home, so it's just, do what you can when you can. God gives us seasons for everything, so some seasons you don't want to have to handle, but you do. Okay, now see, I've got the first row of checks in there. Make it look so easy, Shirley. Girls, it took many years of practice. I mean, the more you do, the better you get at it. Just like the more you cook, You know, the more you fix something you like to cook or whatever you like to do, the more you do, the better you get at it. When I started, it's a struggle when I learn something new. And I've been playing with the clay now all this year, and I'm still having a lot of trouble with it. It's just not my bag. But I'm determined to conquer it. I did that when I learned to paint acrylics. I painted oils for 5 or 6 years before I ever started with acrylics. And when I first started, I thought, Lord have mercy, I'll never learn this. And I'd play with it a while, and then I'd put it under the table or somewhere and hide it. And I did that for a month or so before I finally tackled it. I thought, now if I'm going to paint to sell, I've got to learn to paint acrylics. And I finally learned. But it takes a while when you want to do something. And don't be afraid to make mistakes. Mistakes is how you learn. And most anything you do, you can repaint it. You know, you can decoupage, you can clean it off when you decoupage something if you do it wrong, or you can, if you're painting something, you can repaint it and start all over again. And I've done a lot of that through the years. See? She makes the little stick marks for the checks. That's right. Yeah, it's just got little bitty hatch marks. Now, like I said, if you try to go all the way across that with one stroke, try that and you'll see. If you're trying to make checks and you're trying to do it all across in one stroke, you'll see how hard that is to, you know, to carry that stroke around. You know, when you're doing anything and you try to go around something, you get crooked. If you try to go around a glass or whatever and make a round circle around there, that's hard to do. But if you do it in little bitty tiny strokes and hatch marks, you can get around it. And I learned that too the hard way. I tried for years to do. And then for years I took my tape measure for a long time, not years, but for a long time. I took the tape measure and I tried to make all them exact. You know, I tried to sit there with a cloth tape measure and make all them checks the same size. And that just frustrates you to no end. And it doesn't matter that they're not all the same size. Handmade is not perfection. You know, you want it to look nice, but it's not made to be, you're not a machine. Okay. You're still learning, Faye, so am I. When you quit learning, girls, you're hurting. You know, in life, anything you do in life, when you think you know all you need to know, you're hurting. Because there's always, styles change. I've been painting for close to 50 years, and Lord have mercy, for years we painted so many ducks I thought I'd turn into a duck. Used to paint country, you know, paint country style and painted, and, you know, so many. But now I've always been a holiday. I love holiday designs. I've always been a holiday painter more than anything else. I've always done a lot of stuff for every holiday. When I've set up my booth at the shows, I'd have something for every holiday in my booth. People who like to decorate holiday, you know, decorate their home for holidays, they buy it year round. They don't, you know, they don't wait if they're a real decorator. I used to decorate a lot when we lived in West Virginia. I don't now. My house is smaller and I got out of it when I moved to Tennessee. But I love doing the holiday stuff. I'm waiting for Hobby Lobby to get those trees, that big tree that I showed you on here that's done with the clay stuff. I'm going to do one of those with you in a few weeks as soon as Hobby Lobby gets them in. A lot of us are old, Wanda. You said it. I started in the craft business when I was 27 years old. And my son was less than a year old when I started. My daughter had just started school and my son was just born when I opened a craft shop. I grew up in business. My parents had businesses. I grew up in, as my dad was self-employed. So, when I had the opportunity, and where I lived in West Virginia, you either made your work or you didn't have anything to do unless you worked for the county or the school or something. So my parents ran a store, and my mother asked me if I wanted to do something. She had property where we could put a store in, and I couldn't figure out what to do. I've never done any kind of craft stuff, but I learned, and I had that store for 12 years. I'm behind. What kind of tree is it? Okay, if you look on, Vic, if you look on my page and scroll down the page, you'll see the tree. If you're in my private group, girls, we've already done one. It's the big cone, the Christmas tree that's the cone. But there's a reel down my page showing you a couple that I done last year. And I'm waiting. They're done with the clay and the metallics and stuff, so I'm waiting for Hobby Lobby to get those trees in. That's the only place I've found the trees. You can get the cones, but they don't have a bottom in them, like the paper mache trees do. Now see how that's coming together with the checks? You can see now the checks are going all the way down there. And I'm going to stop on this one and jump over to another one. I just want to get enough of each design on there to show you how it works. See? Now it went all the way down, and I'll continue right on down around that. Okay? It's paper mache, Vicki. Yes, it's their paper mache. Yeah. Craft business is the only job I've ever had. I've worked in it, and I always tell people it's nice to do something you enjoy and call it work, something you could make money at and enjoy doing. Okay, now I've got this one over here with the sides, with the shapes on it. I'm going to do this one in the turquoise. So I'm going to come in first with regular turquoise. Just regular turquoise color paint. And I think it's hobby. It's this one happens to be, no, it's teal folk art. Then I'm going to go over it with the teal and the metallics. But since we got to have 2 or 3 coats on there, this will help. The metallics, you have to put so many coats. If you use metallics all by themselves, you're going to put 6-10 coats on there before you really get it to be a pretty color. So I always put a base coat under it. Sometimes you can just put a black under it, or you can put a little black in the paint. And if I do that here with these colors, I put it in the first coat and then use my regular for the second coat, the regular metallics. These pieces are good too because you can turn it in any direction you need. Now see, I've put the first stripe, and that stripe is slanted. See how it's slanted down that rib? It goes from here and goes down. Now I'm going to make the next one on there. You can see the more once I get them on there, then you can see how the pattern goes down on there. My little finger guides my brush. And the edge of my brush makes the edge. When I want to have a good flat edge on there, that's what goes across the edge that I'm trying to create. I would never turn that brush this way and try to paint across that stripe. I'm going straight the way the stripe goes. Just follow it right around. Use my little finger as my stop guide. That little finger keeps me from pressing down on that brush and and not being able to control it. I control it with my little finger. Now I've got two in there. See, so you can see how they go around. They go down around the pumpkin. Okay. Then we'll go back in and put some strokes or something in between them. So now I'm down to the third one. This paint dries quick, so you can jump around pretty good with it, and it dry quick enough. Once you get, if you're painting three ribs and you go back to the first one, it's usually dry enough for you to go in with that second coat again. Yes, you can spray paint paper mache pumpkins. You can spray paint anything paper mache just like you do the other pieces. I don't know that I've done any of the paper mache pumpkins. I do those cones. I believe those cones is the only thing I've done in paper mache. It's those Christmas trees. Okay, I've got one more stripe there. There's no way we can do this at one time, so what I'll do is get as far as I can tonight to show you parts of the, what we're doing, and then maybe Thursday. We have school starts next week, so we have doctor's appointment. My girl has doctor's appointments 2 days this week, and then I have class, but I might be able to come back in Thursday day if everything works out. I can come back Thursday day with you in the daytime and show you how to put all the little extra things on there. Okay, now see, I've got one coat all the way down that. Now you can see how it goes down. Okay, got that one down. Now we've got one over here with the V's in it. Let's see what color we're going to put in it. How about we do maybe some purple in that one. Okay, so I've got some purple metallic here. This is called Plum. This is a folk art. Just go to the paints in Hobby Lobby and look through the metallics. Doesn't matter what brand you get, deco art, folk art, whatever, and just pick out the colors you like. And then go to your regular paints and try to pick out a color like these two is what I pulled out to show you. See, this one is metallic, and it's just so happens these two are both called teal. This one's teal and metallic. So I go over to the paint rack and I find me a paint that, looking at the bottom of the things, that they look close to each other so I can use them together. Then I would put this coat of regular paint on first, and then put the coat of metallics on over top of it. Okay? That way you get a color, get a mix. But then if you have something you don't have a color for, like this purple now, I'm going to go ahead and put me a little tad of black in this purple, and that will make it more solid. And I'll use that for my first coat, and then my second coat will be just the purple, the plum metallic. But this black will put that solid in there, make it a solid, make it cover good. And it'll still show the purple metallic when you go back over it again. It'll still be the purple color. Okay? Now this one, I'm here on these V's. This is the one I made the V on. So I'm going to paint every other one of these V's I'm going to paint in purple. Good, Lorraine. You'll have to show us what you do with them. I have a telegram thing, girls, but I forget to send it out. I forget about it. I thought about it all day today, and then I forgot about it this evening. Because I can't plan, I can't say today I'll be here tomorrow, because I never know what tomorrow brings for the time being. Okay, now see, there's my first V in there. And that's just like carried it right on down from the orange the V at the orange, and then I'm going right on down that rib with these V's. Okay, now you can kind of see how the different designs are coming together on it. I like the liquid gold to paint the stems with. I can still hear it raining outside. It's just not blowing and hard, but I can hear it. Okay, now see, I've got two of them on there. Continuing right on down with them. Okay. Sometimes you might just paint one black. You can paint one black and put polka dots in it. You can paint, leave it white and put black polka dots in it, or any color you want. You could take the liquid pearl and make polka dots all in, you know, on the thing. I carry the liquid pearl down from these little orange sections up here and put the little liquid pearl beads on them. You could put bling on them. You can do any decorations you want on them. You just do it to suit yourself. But it always takes more than one coat because you're working on that white, and you're going to be painting more than one coat in there unless it's black. Now when you put the liquid gold, it goes on one color, and your black will go one color. But other than that, okay, see, now we're going right on down that page. We've got this design, we've got checks, and now we got that V shape. See? Yes, Linda, I use very little paint. I would rather load my brush 3 times as to have too much paint on there to begin with. I never go in that glob of paint over there. I pull it out to the edge and load my brush flat. I never go down in that paint like that. I pull it out and load it a little. And if you just have a little bit of paint on your brush and you pull it, I always pull it toward me. I don't paint by pushing it. You know, I don't ever push paint. I paint and I pull it toward me, unless I'm in a place where it's a real bind and I have to do that. If I'm under the stem or somewhere, I may have to do that, but that's harder to do. A little bit of paint, and then just pull the straight. Let the edge of your brush make the straight of your line that you want to be straight. See that line, how even that line goes on there? When I pull that brush right around there, then you can always do it the way it's comfortable for you. If it's comfortable to turn it around, turn it around. That's where I want, like I said, I want to pull it toward me. I'm right-handed, and I want to pull it to the right when I'm working on it. Okay, now I've got one more here. You kind of learn, you know, you learn what's easiest for you. Some people, may be easier for them to put more paint on their brush and do that, you know. And some not. Thanks for the stars, girls. You know, it's just whatever you get used to. When you get opportunity to take classes, when you get opportunity to watch anybody that's online, any classes, and we used to do that with, if you got a chance to go take classes. I used to go travel all the time and take classes every year. And regardless of whether that person is good at what they do or not, they'll always teach you something. You will always learn to pick up a new idea or a little something that makes easier. Something you're doing will become a little bit easier by watching how somebody else does it. And you learn from everybody, and then you kind of develop that to learn your own. It becomes your own, your signature. You figure out what I learned from Sally and what I learned from Jane and all, and then it turns into belong to Judy. So, you know, and you never quit learning. the way see decorations, so many decorations, you know, they change every year, so you got to keep up with the trends. If you're selling anything, you've got to do that to keep up with whatever's popular and the colors that's popular for that year. And if you look on Pinterest and things, you'll find things that you like and get all kinds of ideas. You might take a little of this one and a little of that one and turn it into something else. Okay, now I've got those shapes all the way to the bottom. See, I've got them from there, goes all the way down to the bottom. Okay, now let's see, we're going to do one. I've got a gold one there. Let's do a solid one, and we'll make it in the reddish color. Okay, I've got a color over here, a metallic color called garnet, and I've already mixed. I've used some of it. That's what this color is right here on here. Use that. See, I used green on this one. Got the black checks on that one. That one's teal. Okay, now I'm going to put that garnet color. I'm going to put it over here on one of these on just the whole thing. The smaller ribs, you can just paint them all a solid color if you want. But this one I mixed a little bit of black in this first one. The first coat of this one, I mixed a little black in it to get it to be more solid. And then the second coat will be just the metallic putting on it. I probably painted 50 pumpkins last year because I did that craft show last year. And I took a lot of the little ones to the craft show. And the big ones sold first. Not going to do any more shows though. I'm done with that. Okay. I don't usually, the bottom of these, I leave them just plain, and I usually, when I sign them on the bottom. Okay, now I've got that one in that dark red, and I'm going to come over here and paint me a red one. Let's see, I'm going to put one more red one over here. I had that one marked for gold, and that one gold. So, let's see, I'm going to do, let's jump over here and do this green one. And I think I got some green metallic out. I'm going to try to get this one in that green color. Okay, this one, let's see, that's a stripe. Okay, I've got the stripes across there, so I'm going to take a smaller brush, one that I make the stripe the size of the brush, and I'm going to come down through here, and I've got like 5 stripes going across that. Now I'm using a green metallic, so I'm going to pick up a regular green, and I'm going to paint those stripes down there first with that regular green. This is just a avocado, I think it's called. And the metallic green, no, that one's a pearl color. Well, I done got it out, so we'll just see how it turns out. Okay, that's a pearl green in the Americana. Okay, now I'm going to put the first one in the middle here, And I'm going to just eyeball it and try to make me a straight line down there through there, as straight as I can get it. Again, if you just edge that a little bit at a time, just come down it slow and follow those little marks there, and I'm using the full width of my brush. I'm going a little short distance and then picking up paint again. Okay. Thank you, Kathy. We're supposed to have rain and storms all week. And here it is time to Christmas. Oh Lord, to school shop and get things ready for school to start. I have 2 granddaughters that live with me, if you don't know, and one of them's she's a freshman this year, the youngest one is. And the oldest one is going to college this year if she gets in she's applied, but she has to wait and see if they have an opening for the school she's going to. Now I'm going to carry it right on around, put another stripe down through there. I'm not touching that brush. It's very light touch on there. I don't want to press it down. The more you press down on that brush, the thicker your line will get. So you have to kind of keep that brush standing up to get it the size of the brush. If I pressed it down, I'd have a big wide line. So I'm almost straight up and down and just coming around there. See, I'm doing pretty good getting a straight one down through there. And as it gets to the bottom, it narrows down at the bottom because there's less room between them on the bottom than there is on the top. See how it goes from small at the top, larger in the middle, and small at the bottom. That's because you're going over the hump. Okay, now I'm ready to put this other one in over here. So there's no way you could have them stripes exactly the same amount apart because the rib is so different size. On these other ones over here now, where the ribs are all the same size, you can be a little more precise with them. But these, you just have to kind of eyeball it and guess at it. And it won't matter if they're not all the same size. Okay. Okay, now I'm over here to the other side. Pull one right down through here. And I spray these pumpkins when I get them varnished, get them done to varnish them. I spray them with Rust-Oleum's 2-in-1 clear acrylic. And usually I use the gloss on them. If you don't want them shiny, use the satin. And sometimes that spray varnish will mess with your liquid gold. Sometimes you put it on and when you spray it, it turns that, it dulls your liquid gold. But if it does that, that liquid gold has a shine on it anyway. Just go back in after you varnished it and paint that liquid gold again. Because it won't matter that it's whether it's sprayed or not. Now I got one more stripe there. Okay. Almost got it. We got more girls in here tonight than we usually have. I appreciate that. Okay, now I've got green stripes on that one. See there, and then we'll put some little designs or something in between those stripes. Now let's see what else we're going to do here. Okay, I thought I would paint me another red colored one. That purple looks almost like that reddish color. Okay, let's go back and see what this purple looks like. Now let's go back over here to the metallic. Let's put the metallic color over top of this one and see how pretty it gets when we put that second coat on there. So we're with the teal now. Okay, now see the difference in that color? This is the two coats, and this is the one. See that covered? And then when you put that second coat on there, it makes a world of difference in that color in that. Okay, so we've got that. We'll go right on down and do a couple more, just so you can see what they look like. Like I said, I'll finish this with all the extra coats on it, and then I'll come back on with you and we'll do a short class. Probably won't take us no more than 30 minutes to do another one and do the finish work on it. We can make little strokes. We can make all kinds of little designs on there. Or put beads, or, you know, you can do all kinds of stuff with them. Okay, now got that one, the green. They all have to have another coat. See, this purple, this green, this one all has to have another coat of paint. And I'm still leaving these, this one's going to be gold. So I got to figure out what to do with this one over here. So I think I will divide this one down the middle and just paint it in two colors. So I'm going to go straight down here and go right down the middle from the point up there and make this one two halves. Okay, now I'm going to, you know what, I should have just left that, let's see what color I'm going to put on there. See what color we need to make it a pretty one. See what I've got over here on this one that I like. Okay, there's a different color orange. There's a pink. Let's go, let's see if we can get us a red and a pink in there. Okay, that's hard. See, now that's hard. Deciding your colors is the hardest part you're going to do, deciding what colors you want to put in there. Okay, let me see what I got over here. Let's use a little bit of this burnt orange and a burnt orange, or see what that would be. Pink or burnt orange. I got to decide. Okay. I've got a metallic pink. You know what? I'm going to paint that one all black. Then I'm going to put some gold, a different color gold, over top of that black. So I'm going to get me a little bigger brush so I won't be painting all day on it, because that's a bigger spot. And I'm going to go in here and paint this one black. I'll get the biggest part, and then I'll go down to a good brush with a good edge to do that edge up there around that orange. Okay. There's really not any colors on there that you can put on there that's not pretty. When you get them all finished, they're all, you know, they all look good. So you don't have to worry about, you know, I just try to make each rib something different. I don't want two black ones side by side or two white ones side by side. If I put two black ones on, I'd usually put them opposite. Put a black one here and then maybe a black one over there somewhere. Or the same with the other colors. I don't usually put two colors, two of the same color side by side. But there's lots of metallic colors you can put right over top of the black, and we'll see what comes out on this one when we put something over top half of it. We'll see what we get. Now this brush is not quite as flat edge as I like, so I'm going to go down to the smaller one to get this edge up here, because I want a brush with a good edge on it. Okay, got that black on there. Now we need to let it dry a little bit. So we'll jump over here and paint one of these others. Those gold ones will only need one coat, so I don't have to. I'll go back over here to this kind of burgundy colored one and paint it again. Okay, I see that one's covering good too. I like that color. It's called plum, and I believe, I don't know if that's what that color was called. That was called garnet. Okay, now that's a pretty one. See, you got that one done. That's a pretty color. That's a real pretty metallic color. Now I'm going to come back over here to this black one. It's dried a little bit, and I'm going to put me a color over top of it and see what we get. Let me look up here in my paints and see what I've got here. Oh, let's see. Acrylic. Wonder what that chameleon, that's a pearl effect. I don't know if I could put that over that. This is a pin art chameleon. Let's see what happens when we put this over top of that black. We'll go down to the bottom because we can always paint that black again. So I'm going to go down here and put a little bit of this on here and see what I get. Ooh, that turns gold. Well, that black and chameleon turns gold. See here? See that gold on there? When you mix the two. Okay, I'm going to use that, and I'm going to take me a white, let me find a white pencil so I can make me a mark down through there, because that's marking on black. I should have a white pencil here somewhere. Chalk pencil's what you need. You might know I don't see it. Well, poopy. Pardon my French. Nothing's ever there when you want, where you think it's at when you get ready to use it. And then you look right over top of it and don't see it. And I don't see it. I've got a chalk pencil somewhere. Okay, I'm going to try to take my brush and go down that edge, because I'm going to paint half of it with this color. So I'm going to come right up here, and I'm going to come right down that middle. Right down the middle with that color. And this doesn't look anything. This is called Chameleon, and it's Pearl Effect paint. See what color it is? And on that black, it's turning gold. A real pretty shade of gold. So that's what you do when you just experiment with colors. The only thing is, when somebody says, "What did you put on that?" I don't always remember. This is kind of a green gold. And I'm painting half of the thing with it, just coming over half of it. Now, when I put the second coat of that on there, it may change completely. Every one of these is different because you're painting, you know, you're making them all one of a kind because of the way you paint them all. You're never going to get it. It's hard to get them exact unless you set one right beside the other and paint them both at the same time. See, that's a pretty color on there. Okay. Ruth, hot dog, I got you live. Will you do for a few minutes more? I like that color. It's kind of a green gold. It's got a little bit of a green tint to it. And then the black. And then we'll put some pearls. Where you get that pumpkin? I got this pumpkin from Hobby Lobby. So I will put some, either some pearl dots or something down that to divide those two colors. We'll do that to divide them. So let's see what we got left here. We've got that black one. We're going to do the gold ones. So really I've got two more left to put color on. So let's use this, let's use a dark here. Let's use a burnt orange and make one of them that color. Okay. I've got out a dozen colors of paint here. Okay. Now I really don't even have to clean my brush. I'm going in with that same, with the same brush, but I'm going to just use a different color on it. They're pretty just to do a pumpkin in just black and white. Black and white all the way around. Paint every other one black. And then go back and put dots in some of them and stripes, you know, different designs in some of the colors. Different size polka dots in the black and white, especially on these small ones. These little ones over here. The black and white is really pretty. And some of them, you can get some without a stem on them here, and you can create you a stem on the top of them with any kind of knob or something. You know, you can make your own stem. Some people use clay and make stems out of clay. You could use the clay we used to make. I used to sculpt with clay, Sculpey, and bake it. So you could make stems with Sculpey if you really wanted to, and bake them in the oven and then glue them onto your piece. It's paper mache, Debbie. No, it's not paper mache, it's resin. I don't know what I'm saying. It's a resin pumpkin, not glass. They're resin, and I think they're hollow. See, you can hear it. They are breakable. You know, if you drop it on something, floor, you know, a concrete floor or something, they are breakable. They will break. But they ship easy. You know, they're not easy to break. You have to drop it on something, you know, something sturdy, like a, I guess if you just dropped it on the wood floor, it may not break, but it might also, just according to how you hit it right. But they are breakable because they're paper mache. I mean, they're resin. But I love these with the odd shapes. These are my favorite ones. Okay. Now we got another color in there. Now let's put us another stripe down this green. Then we got one more to decide a color on. I think I'll go ahead and paint this one over here the same as that rust color and carry it over here on this side too. Use that rust over here. The gold, I would always wait till last to paint that gold because it's going to be a little harder to dry on you. You know, it's not going to dry immediately like the others do. And it's an oil-based paint, so you... But if it doesn't, you know, if you spray and it messes it up, then just go right back in and paint it over. Paint it again. But that gold just pulls it together, makes it really pretty, and I paint the stem gold. Yeah, Hobby Lobby's got doorknobs that make really good bottle tops and stuff, girls. And also wood. You go to the wood section, and back in the wood section at Hobby Lobby, and you'll find finals, little wood finals. I've got a whole tub of them up here somewhere. I don't have any laid out to show you, but you can use them, and they glue. They're wood pieces. You can use them on bottles, or you could use them in the middle of the pumpkin or something and make you a different topper on it. Because some of the pumpkins, I've got some over there that don't have, you know, much of a top on them, so you could change them. We'll put beads down the ribs of this one. I've not done one in a long time and put beads in it. So we can just take those bling beads and put them right down the middle of each one of these ribs. And it'll make it all stand out, but that's something you do at the very end. Okay, now let's go back to the green. We'll paint another. What kind of painted have sold very well? I always sell the big ones, Debbie. I've always sold them, but I've also sold a ton of these little ones. I sell these for $48, I believe, $47.95. I sell these on my Etsy shop, and I've got a few of them in there now, and I sell them good. I sold one woman last week, bought two, and you know, they buy them in multiples. But now these big ones, you know, this one will be like $85, and you know, one I put on today. But I do sell the bigger ones. They do sell. The little black and white ones, the one I just paint plain black and white, I don't, I sell them a little cheaper because I can paint them real quick, just black and white. Okay, now I'm going to go right back down this. Let's see if I can use the metallic on that and get it on there without having to do another coat. Yeah, I can. Okay, I'm going right back over the green now with the metallic green. Right back over the stripes. I worked on lemons today. I sell a lot of lemon stuff, so. Wanda, you do have some of the small ones. Some of you, I think, one of the ladies in here bought a big one. One of our group. It's, I'll think of her name in a minute. I sold her a big one last year. Anything I put on my page, girls, anything I show in the reels or anything is always for sale. You either can contact me and buy it through Facebook, or you can go to my Etsy shop, and usually you'll find a lot of it there. But I don't post anything in Etsy that's not ready to ship. You know, I don't take orders in Etsy because I don't want to be obligated. If I don't want to work today, I don't work today. You know how that is. So I don't take orders anymore. I used to do a lot of, you know, private orders and do stuff, but I don't do that anymore. I just paint what I want to and hope it sells. Everything's slow right now with election and the way people are having to pay for stuff and groceries, and it's crazy. So sales have really been slower this year. I like that green. It's kind of like a Christmas green when you get that metallic on there. Okay. Joan, she's the one she's got a big one. I believe she's the one that's got one. Boy, it'll be Christmas before you know it. The older you get, the faster the days go by. Time rolls. And I just got paint out where I don't want it. So if you grab it real quick, you can get it back off. Take a wet brush and go right back down that really, really quick. And you can pick that up. But you have to be fast at it. Okay, now I'm down to the 3 gold ones, and I'm not going to paint them yet till I get all the colors on there. So I think, girls, we'll stop for tonight, because now it's just a repeat of, you know, of putting all the other colors on there again. I'm going to put that this color back on there again before I forget that. I'm going to put another coat of this over that gold color before I forget that. See what it comes out this time. And then we'll come back in here Thursday afternoon. I have a class Thursday night with my group, but I'll try to come back in Thursday afternoon and finish the finish work with you. I'll not do nothing but paint the colors on, get all the colors on. And if you don't get to join us, you'll be able to see the replay. That way we'll get all the little finish stuff done with it. Okay. Now that turned out a little bit different color when I put that second coat on there. It's got a little bit of that shimmer to it. You could also use that the color the stuff we've been using called shimmer glaze. You could go back over any of your colors with this shimmer glaze and just it'll just put a little glaze of color on there. It don't really change the color, it just puts a glaze on it, kind of like a thing. So now I have to go back in. What I'll have to do now is paint each one of these colors in the second time. I'll try to get that done tomorrow if I'm when I get back from the doctor with Morgan tomorrow. But I'll get the colors. I'll put each color again, and then I'm going to put liquid gold on these. Then I'll come back in and we'll do the finish work. I'll show you how to do all the little, let me get my picture down here. I dropped that one. All the little stroke work and the stuff like I've got on this one. See, I think there's a picture of this on my page. See, I've got little strokes in there. I've got polka dots in it. Got different colors of stripes and stuff. The same way with this one. This one's got some polka dots and some hash marks. And see, I've put a gold stripe down each one of these. I put a gold stripe on them. But I also went in and put little hatch marks down through here and got polka dots on some of them. And the black, I'll usually put the gold polka dots in the middle of the black. We'll use some liquid pearl colors and do that, do that kind of stuff. So I'm going to stop for tonight. It's about 8:30 and I'm sure Daryl's hollering to see where I'm at. So that's about an hour and a half. That's about as long as I can stay out because he'll be hollering in a minute and have to get him ready for bed. Okay? Grace is asking, does Judy have a question about? Okay. On what materials can I use the medium? Now you're talking about the painting medium that I use to shade with. Is that, because I don't know if I can see her comment or not. Let me see if I can go back up here. Yeah, Joan has 2 of the pumpkins. Going to do molds. I'm going to try the molds on the pumpkins. I got me a leaf mold. See, I believe I got it laying over here. I got it in this a couple of days ago. I think it's this one. Yeah, I got this mold in a couple of weeks ago. It's like oak leaves and all kinds of leaves on it. And I'm going to try to do this one with clay. Like I said, girls, I'm not a real clay person. But let me answer her question first about the medium. If you're using this painting medium, it's to help you shade and highlight with. And I don't paint fabric, so I'm leaving fabric out. I don't paint on fabric. I've done that a few years ago only to do a class, and when I had my craft shop, I don't like to paint on fabric. But anytime, if I want to shade, say I want to put a shade in between these 2 colors, move this over here, like this orange right here. So if I take this orange and I want to shade, put some shading down, I could put shade in each one of these. I could shade anywhere. I could go in here and shade under these. So you can shade anything. If I want to shade, I shade it underneath, and if you want to highlight it, you do it on the top. So let's see right here. If I take this, you take a little bit of medium. Let me show you what this looks like when I squirt it out. It looks like paint. Let me find me a piece of paper here. When I squirt this on my palette, it stands up. Just see, it has some body. It doesn't run like water. It has some body to it, just like paint does. But it's transparent. It has no color to it. Okay? So that's why it's used to help your paint move. It doesn't change the color of your paint. It just helps you to have some body on that brush. If you're an experienced painter, you can do that with water. Like I can take water, and I can put my brush in a little bit of water, blot it on my towel, come over here and pick that paint up on one edge of that brush, blend it on my palette like this till it kind of fades. Then I come right back in here and I make a shade line. See, I can do the same thing shading with the water, but that's harder to do. That takes a little more experience of learning how to water, because if you get too much water on you, it runs, and if you don't get enough, it won't move for you. Well, the painting medium takes the place of that water. It leaves you, it has some body to it, so when you pick it up, you can see it on my brush. See, it looks like white paint on my brush. But when you pick it up, and then you pick up some paint, you always have to blend it. Now I've got paint on one side and blending medium on the other side, okay? So you always have to blend that on your palette, over here on your palette or paper plate or wherever your paint's at. Blend it back and forth. And what it does, it carries that shade from dark to light. When you make a line with that, it doesn't just make a stripe. It makes a thin line that shows you a, I don't have a piece of cardstock here. I usually have a piece laying around here, but I don't have, that I can show you. I need to do that overhead so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, see when I go down this paper right here, see it goes from dark and it goes across that, it goes from dark to light. It fades. See, you can see the darkest part on this side and the lightest part on that side. And that's why you're shading. If you're shading going down this pumpkin and you're going to put a shade line in there, then I would come right down through here. I can do this on this thing because it's same color. And I would just pull that down. Now, if I was going to highlight that, I'd go back in and pick up a light color. Let's see if I pick up a little bit of a lighter orange here. Then I'd do it the same way, and then I'd put a highlight in there, and it makes me a lighter shade. I know that's hard for you to see and hard to explain it. I'm going to have to do an overhead. I'm going to try to do an overhead, move my camera over here so you're looking over my shoulder. And then maybe I can show you a little better with the shading and the highlight. It just takes practice to learn how much to put on your brush. And for a long time, I used Folk Art. So it's different brands. You know, it's like all brands have them. But then a lot of them have discontinued them. Okay? So what is pen art? Something there, Faye, says it's pen art. Okay? If you have any questions, girls, shoot me a thing. Shoot me a question and then ask me outright, because I'll come back in probably Thursday afternoon, maybe about 2:30, 3 o'clock. I'll see what's going on then and come back in and finish this pumpkin with you on Thursday. And so you can see how we finish it out, because I hate to just leave it and not finish it. But if we sit here and finish it, we're going to be another hour and a half getting it finished, because it's not not a quick project. I appreciate all of you. And I hope I've taught you a little bit of something tonight. Sometimes it gets confusing when I'm jumping back and forth and trying to tell you things. It gets confusing. But I appreciate all of you that come along with us tonight, and I hope I've helped you a little bit. And I hope you have a great weekend. Catch you later, girls. I'm out of here for tonight. The shimmer glaze, yes, the shimmer glaze is pen art. I've got it in white. I usually buy from TH Decor online, and I've got it in white and I've got it in gold, and it's just puts a shimmer on whatever paint. See, it's just white, looks like white paint, but when you paint it on there, it just puts a shimmer glow on whatever you're doing. It doesn't change the color of it. It just makes it kind of put a shine on it. Try it on something. Just try it and you'll see how it does. Okay, girls, good night. I appreciate all of you.